We will now build a tracker for managing project tasks that are similar in kind and higher in number. 10, 20, 30 tasks of a similar kind, for instance. Examples can be found in almost any type of project. The montage of interior doors by the carpenters in a construction project, the documentation of process flowcharts by a business analyst in a Lean Six Sigma project, the creation of user accounts by an IT support specialist in a software implementation project, and so on. As we said, similar or identical types of tasks. Let's open Excel. As a first step, we will again respect the best practice of marking your whole sheet in white and adapting the first row and column. Then, we need to create our tracker column by column. In this case, we will have more rows, hence I will number them and have the first column as number marked with N, for example. We will format the column title as we did in the previous lesson. You can write the numbers below by typing 1 and 2 in the first two cells, then select both cells and drag down. Excel understands you want to create a list, so populates and gives you the sequence. Let's say we have 19 tasks here. For this table, we will apply all borders from the Borders menu on the Home tab. And we will optimize the column width by double-clicking on its right border above, like that. The next column is the task name. Note, it is very important to add a name that is not confusing, so remember to always name the tasks clearly. Use the documentation of process flowcharts by a business analyst in a Lean Six Sigma project as an example. Assuming the processes are related to the F&A department, we list the exact names of the processes. Okay, we now have the processes' names listed in the task column. Needless to say, this list has to be agreed upon with the stakeholders before the business analysts start working on it. Moving on, the next critical information will be who is responsible for each task. Let's say in our case we have two business analysts, Jessica and Mark. After agreeing who will do what, we can include a name against each of the tasks. Note, if in your project there is only one person responsible for all tasks, it will not make much sense to have this column. It would just waste space without providing valuable information, so you can skip it in such cases. The next one is our favorite, status column. We already know how to set it in Excel, so we won't repeat the steps here. Nevertheless, if you're still in doubt, feel free to review the previous lesson again. The next column is about the completion percentage. Here we will be tracking the progress using the conceptual range 0% to 100%. When the tasks take more time, more than one day, let's say, this column gives valuable information on the actual status. If one process mapping takes 5 working days on average, the business analyst will be updating the completion percentage each day. If, for example, after day 3, the progress is above 60%, that will be a good indicator that things are progressing normally. However, if after day 2, the progress is 10%, let's say, this will make the project manager ask questions right away. Attention! This column is very useful, but needs to be managed carefully as the decision on the percentage may often be subjective. The one thing you don't want is to have a good completion percentage which is not reflecting reality. This will mislead the project manager and the stakeholders to think that everything is okay, while the true progress is actually way lower. Expectations management should be carefully performed by the project management here. My advice is to always be on the safe side and be more conservative in the percentages you or your team member adds here. Okay. With the percentages in place, we can calculate a total number, indicating the overall progress so far. We can select a cell at the bottom of the same column or at the top if the list is too long. We will use the average formula in Excel. Type equals and then average. Now you need to select the cells for which the average will be calculated. Select all completion percentage cells. When ready, click Enter. There you have it, an overall completion percentage number. Attention! This total will be correct if the tasks are very similar in terms of effort needed to complete one. If the processes in our case take about 5 days each, the overall completion percentage will be realistic. However, if some of the processes take 2 days and others take 10 days, the simple average will not be a correct representation of the reality. This needs to be taken into account when agreeing how to present progress in this way. Finally, we leave one free text column for comments. We are already familiar with the purpose of this one, right? Okay, we can finish with some formatting. Again, we put the title row in bold. We can increase the row height and then use the middle align so text is centered also vertically. We already centered the text for columns where it would make sense. In this case, responsible, status, and completion percentage columns. Finally, we can give the needed space to the completion and responsible titles by double-clicking on their main column borders. Perfect. Here we have our work tracker. With this document, the project manager and the team can keep control on all tasks, catch any delays in a timely manner, and monitor the work progress transparently. So useful. Let's continue with the final tracker template in Excel in the next video. See you there.